Hey guys, it's Alex, and today I want to talk bias ply tires. I've heard a lot of people give a little pushback when I recommend bias ply tires to them due to the fact that they sway a lot, they're not stable. When they're going on the track, the car's all wavy and unstable, and people get a little afraid of that, and they blame the bias ply tire for that. But there's a bunch of reasons why the car is going down the track all wavy. So let's start with a couple of things. You go to the track with your 20-inch rims and wheels, and then you swap out for your 28 by 10 slicks. Okay, then you go to the track, you put them at about 15 psi, 16 psi. You go to the track and you launch the car, and then the moment you start correcting a little bit, the car really starts to sway down the track, and it scares the crap out of you, and you go, oh my God, I'm letting off. Bias ply tires suck. Radials are more stable. Oh my God, I can't believe I listened to Alex having me run a bias ply tire. I almost killed myself. You need to relax. There's a couple of ways to lessen the sway with a bias ply tire. Number one, grow some nuts. Okay, you're gonna have a little bit of sway, and yeah, it feels a little bit squishy back there, but you're gonna have to grow some nuts because the grip is there. Secondly, run a front skinny. Why run the front skinny when you have a bias ply in the back? Because it tracks less. There's less of the tire on the track. So when you're doing corrections, it's not as severe. So what happens is when you start correcting a little bit, especially on a shift, half of you guys do this. When you're at the line, I see you guys with a hand on the wheel like this. You got your knuckles are white, and you're waiting for that light to come down on a stick shift car, and then boom, the light, the last yellow comes, you launch, and then you shift and you do this. Second, third, because you're John Force, and you're slamming it in the gear, and you're jerking the wheel like this. Well, what happens when you jerk the wheel like this when you have a 20-inch front wheel and a bias ply rear? That sucker's gonna start swaying, and then you're correcting at with your hand at the 12 o'clock position, and the car sways all the way down the track, and you're like, that was the scariest ride of my life. Well, there's a couple of ways of combating that. Number one, either run a skinny in the front, but if for whatever reason you do not want to run a skinny in the front, let's do this. Let's do a couple things. Let's correct your hands at the track. When you're at the track, you put your hand here. Why here? Because you are less prone to, overcorrecting here. If you got to correct a little bit, up, down, just very slight corrections here. Not here, never here. When you're drag racing and you have your hand here, wrong. Let's put it here. Secondly, run a little more pressure in the back. Okay, if the track is biting good, run 17, run 18, run 19 pounds. If it's wrinkling too much and rolling over and doing this weird, squat and then a subsequent sway down the track, run more air pressure in the tire. That is gonna get rid of it. Now, a lot of people want to run a radial all the time. Automatic guys, look, run a radial always. A lot of stick shift guys want to run a radial because it's gonna hook. It's gonna be more stable, but it's also gonna break shit. It's gonna start breaking axles, differentials, input shafts, gears, you name it, it's gonna break it. Why? Because there is no cushion back there anymore. It is a radial, stiff, hard tire. Automatics do with it better because they're already planting some power. They're preloading. On a stick shift car, there is no preloading. You dump the clutch, boom, there it is. Now, another way of combating sway down the track is running a bias ply front. So if you have a skinny front and it's a radial, for instance, you'll still have a little bit of sway, but it'll be dramatically less than if you have a 20-inch, 18-inch, or 19-inch tire in the front, regular size passenger tire. A radial with a radial usually works well. Bias ply with a radial, when you mix them, bias ply in the rear, radial in the front, doesn't work so well. But when you go bias ply, like a front Phoenix bias ply tire, or even a front radial skinny, as long as there's a lot less patch on the front to actually grip and overcorrect, your car is going to be super stable down the track. I have never had an issue with a skinny front bias ply rear, like a full slick rear. I've never had swaying issues, nothing of the sort, because I always run a skinny in the front. If by some chance I have a big tire in the front, I have to know that it's gonna be more prone to sway. So my hands are gonna have to be put in the right position, and the corrections are gonna have to be minimal corrections when you're going down the track. Okay, so don't be afraid of running a bias ply with a stick shift car. If it sways too much, put a little more pressure in the tire. If it sways too much because of your actions and your hands are up here and you're overcorrecting gear to gear, put your hands in a better position to correct and not overcorrect. And lastly, if you can swing it, get yourself a set of skinnies in the front with bias ply. The swaying will literally go away magically. Thanks for watching, guys. Talk to you later.